Growing up, were you a professional wrestling fan? If so, who'd you look up to?
Yeah, of course I did. Well, I grew up in the Philadelphia area, so I grew up with Vince McMahon Sr.'s, WWF. And I guess it was guys that at the time it wasn't really guys that worked well. You're a little kid and you're not looking at great wrestlers, guys who can work great matches. You're looking at things that attract you. So I guess, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Jay Strongbow, Tito Santana, guys like that, that kind of interested me. Not necessarily the bad guys at the time, where times are different now. You're a little kid, you kind of, tend to like the heel every once in a while, like the Miz's love. But a Miz at the time, you didn't love a guy like that, like a Captain Lou Albano. But now that I'm older and go back and watch and look at that stuff, you appreciate guys like that so much.
Now, was being a wrestling referee your first career choice? If not, what was?
Actually, I wanted to be a manager. I thought I could be the next, Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, who were hot at the time. But I was talked into, might be financially better for me as a referee, and it turned out to be true.
I can understand that, and it takes a less toll on your body, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Although with ECW, I don't know about that.
Yeah, you were taking bumps too. Now, my special co-host Andrew has a question for you. So Andrew, go ahead, man.
Jim, being that you were a referee, how is that training different, if at all, than training to be a wrestler?
Well, it's learning different positioning. It's learning to be alert to the environment, not just the moves and the guys in the ring, but you'll have to learn to be alert to the environment of what's going on with the crowd and any kind of distractions, especially when you're working something like TV or a live pay-per-view. If there's something going on in the crowd, which happened quite often with ECW, if there was a fight or something breaking out, you had to keep that in mind and kind of keep a third eye on that, have the guys bring the match down, let that pass by or let security take care of it, and then say, okay, guys, the attention's back on you.
Okay. What was going through your head during the first match that you ever refereed?
I must be crazy. No, actually, you know what? I think I was nervous more than anything, just not to mess up for the wrestlers, and not that I was really concerned about it my whole career, but I think that's the main thing that you think of as a referee. You don't want to really do something wrong or draw some attention to yourself when it's not about you in the ring. It's about the two guys or the four guys, depending on what kind of match it is. It's about the wrestlers in the ring, not about the ref.
Who was the? Do you remember who the wrestlers were in the first match you refereed?
Yeah, I don't remember the date. That's the one thing I don't remember, but I know it was Jimmy Jannetty and Glenn Osborne for Tri-State Wrestling Alliance at the Westchester Community Center. I knew where it was, I just couldn't think of it. Westchester Community Center, and I know it was 1988, so I don't know the exact day.
Okay, and what are your thoughts about WWE recently ending the ECW name, or at least on television, and seemingly TNA starting to pick up the style with them signing a lot of the ECW originals?
Well, I look at what the WWE did with the name as something completely different. It was never the ECW that we all know or are part of or loved. It was something completely different. We just, knew it from feeling backstage, and to me it conveyed on TV with a different approach and a different style and a different fan base. So, as far as WWE ending it, that's fine with me. It ended a long time before that, before they even tried to restart it. Even though I thought the first One Night Stand was really good, and we had a great time there, and we all thought it went really well, the second one was something definitely different, a different feeling. And I was there for the first two tapings of Sci-Fi, and it was a way different feeling. Wasn't my mother's ECW. As far as the TNA picking up the guys, it's great they're getting work. I don't know how well it's going to transfer over because I don't know how many TNA fans know what the ECW was. You really have to kind of look at your fan base and see who they are and see if they were even watching wrestling when ECW was running, if it's worth the investment of doing it.
Okay.
Now my other co-host Viper has a question, so Viper, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wondering what who do you feel out of all the wrestlers that you've seen over the years are the most overrated and the most underrated?
Oh, wow. Overrated, you know what? I really don't know. I mean, ones that I've worked with, not just, watching John Cena or Bradshaw or somebody like that. Not to drop any names. But I don't know about guys that I worked with. Definitely underrated. You could go through the entire original ECW locker room and come up with 20 underrated guys. The one I have to think of first of all is Jerry Lynn. I think WWE, TNA both have really made a mistake by not keeping him around when they had the chance to and making a star out of him. The guy works so well, and I think having him there with younger wrestlers would be a perfect opportunity for him to teach and explain things to guys and get them over and make stars out of other people without making himself look foolish.
Now, I read somewhere that you participated in the training of current WWE champion Sheamus. Talk a little bit, if you could, about his attitude and his training in particular.
Well, it was quite a while ago. It was really when I just first got to the Monster Factory. He had a visa to come over for 6 months to train at the school. So we only had him for a little bit. When he was in the ring, he learned. He paid attention. He caught on really quick to everything. Getting him there sometimes was maybe a bit of a problem, but he totally changed with that kind of an attitude because I know he's really committed to what he's doing. And like I said, he only had the 6 months here in the U.S., and then he went back to Ireland and did some more training, worked for some independent stuff over there. And when WWE was first starting to go over to Europe, they were doing a tour of the UK and Ireland, and he gave me a call. And at the time, Tommy Dreamer was involved with talent in the office and asked me to get a hold of Dreamer for him, so I did. And Dreamer looked at him, and Finley got involved. And it wasn't until I think the next tour, maybe the 2 tours after that they said, "Yeah, we want you. Come on over." So it took quite a while. And I think the guy's really committed. I love what they're doing with him. I think they brought him in at a nice, slow pace. They didn't push him right to the top real fast. There's a lot of guys who get pushed to the top too fast are out the door just as fast. So I'm real happy with what they've done with him.
Now, did you participate in training any other wrestlers?
Yeah, I started at the Monster Factory after the original ECW shut down in 2001, and we've got tons of guys out on the indie circuit. If you know any about some of the indie names, one name that comes up a lot is Cindy Rogers, who's always listed as one of the top 5 or 10 best independent women in the country. We trained her. As far as other guys going to WWE, we trained one half of the Dicks, if you remember them. On I think they were on SmackDown. James Dick, Tank Tolan, we trained him, and also one half of Deuce and Domino. Domino we trained at the Monster Factory. He was there already. So was Tank. They were both already there when I got there, but I had something to do with their training, and also with the latest camp that's coming up down in Tampa for Florida Championship Wrestling. We have somebody else going down there. So hopefully that'll work out well for him.
Nice. Now, you were one of the few ECW originals that were brought in when WWE relaunched the brand. Did you enjoy being a part of it?
You know, at first I did. I think the difference, it was just a different feeling. ECW, we were a real tight family. I mean, when you talk to Gary about it, I'm sure he tells you the same type of stories, that we were a real tight family, and you know, and even, yes, it was work for us, but it didn't feel like we were going to work, where, you know, with WWE, you were going to work. And I just felt like it was a way different attitude. And, you know, the arrangement changed with, you know, different things with what you were told to do and you know, to get there and all that kind of stuff. And I really just kind of threw my hands up and said, you know what, I just really don't need the aggravation. And I felt I walked away with my pride, which is something a lot of guys can't say they have the opportunity to do.
Now, my co-host Andrew has a couple questions, so Andrew, go ahead.
Okay, well, what are some of the most memorable moments that you have been in the ring for?
The one that comes to mind the most, because there's got to be 100 of them, and we can talk for hours probably. But the one that comes to mind the most is the first three-way dance that ECW did that really got us notoriety with Shane Douglas, Sabu, and Terry Funk. 60-minute match, however long it was, no winner. Sherry Martel and I were the only ones that were out there the whole time, and it was just a great feeling. I got to say that's got to be the top. The next one would probably be Barely Legal, the first pay-per-view. Paul asked everybody to be there at 12:30. They just wanted to make sure everybody was in town. And I only live 10 minutes from the arena. So I showed up at 12:30 like everybody else, and he said, okay, everybody can go back to the hotel and go get something to eat or do whatever you want to do and be back here. I think I had to be back there by 5 o'clock. And I just sat there the whole time. Watch them put up the lights, watch them set up the chairs, watch them test the microphones, and do all that kind of stuff, and you know, just kind of soaked everything in, because who knew if we were going to do it again.
Right, that was a great show. What do you feel makes a good referee?
One that's invisible, one that you don't know is in the match. I've done, you know, countless matches with ECW that are famous, and people will say, oh, I didn't know you were the referee, and that makes me feel good, because that means I did my job. I let the guys control the match. I had nothing to do with it except just, you know, being there and counting the three or counting them out or whatever it was.
I can understand why you say, you know, being invisible. I myself am a worker, and I've had too many matches where referees get in the way. So I know what you mean. You know, it's always about positioning too. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, it's a big part of the training. Being in position out of the way for the wrestlers, but also then when you add in if there's television cameras, photographers, honestly, I really didn't worry about. They can move and get the shot. I have to be there for the wrestlers. TV is a little different. I have to know how to work around the ring and know where the handheld camera is, know where the hard camera is. Keep that in mind too. But the main purpose is to stay out of the way of the guys and let them do their thing.
Very true. Now my co-host Viper has a couple questions. So Viper, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was wondering what are some of your memories on the second Wrestle reunion, which you were a part of?
I wasn't involved with the Wrestle reunions. I was just involved with the one-night stands.
Okay. Now, let's see. Nowadays, what would you say is a typical day for you?
Well, I work a regular, I guess what people could call a regular job now. I own my own delivery company. So it's, get up in the morning and get to work and come home and try to work out as much as as an old man can nowadays. And I'll get over to the school a couple times a week and help with the training. And then actually we're kind of in an off season, but we have our own little promotion there at the school. And I think what makes us different is that we're a school with a promotion as opposed to a promotion with a school. And it's just to help the guys get used to working in front of people. But we take the summer off, so that kind of slowed it down for me now. Honestly, just going through the day, I'm just a regular guy nowadays, and nobody knows. During my regular, daily life, nobody knows that I was this, quasi, semi-star, if you want to call it that, with ECW, as opposed to people in the wrestling world who might ooh and ah. Not that they should, because like I said before, I'm just a referee, and that's all. That's all I wanted to be. I never was into it to be a star. Just be a part of it because I loved it. But yeah, just a normal day anymore, and I'm happy with it.
Now, on August 21st, 2010, you're going to be a part of the PWA Wrestling Out Cancer, which is taking place at the Sportsplex at the Bucks County Expo and Conference Center in Festerville, PA. What can fans expect from this show?
I think it's going to be an interesting show. We actually have a couple of guys from the Monster Factory on the show, so you'll see guys that you've never seen before, but who know how to put on a wrestling match, to guys that you've seen quite often in the Philadelphia area. One of the matches is Billy Real against Nick Burke, which is the title match for PWA, and also you'll get to see some stars that I don't know if you've ever seen them match up before or not. I don't know if Al Snow's ever wrestled Charlie Haas before. That's the main event. So, I think there's going to be a mix of stuff. You're going to see a women's tag match. You don't see that too often out and about. ODB and Tracy Brooks are going to be part of that, which I love Tracy Brooks. I don't know why they got rid of her. Well, ODB's a great worker too, but Tracy's a beautiful girl. I think you're going to see a good mix of independent guys, up-and-comers, and guys that have been there.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup is great. Like you said, Al Snow, Charlie Haas, ODB, Tracy Brooks. You've got indie sensation Nick Burke. I mean, the lineup is definitely there, and it's going to be a great event. And fans, if you want to check it out, for more information, go to myspace.com/Premier Wrestling Alliance. Tickets
right,
are.
One match. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say tickets are $20 for the first 4 rows, and then $15 for bleacher seats if you're a fan wanting to check out the event. But go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I do want to step on that because that's important. And this is a charity show for cancer too, so make sure you get out there and help with that. But I mean, like one of the matches, like I mentioned, a couple of guys coming from the Monster Factory, they're calling it a rookies match, but these guys have probably wrestled each other 200 times. So these guys know what they're doing. Pretty Boy Brian Johnson, who's a local Philly guy, and I Am Smarter, who's out of the Atlantic City area. And they both work for other independent promotions in the area and up in New York. So these guys are, got some experience. So even though you don't know their names, I think you're going to enjoy their match.
Yeah, now those two you're talking about are, of course, the Pretty Boy Brian Johnson and I Am Smarter for those fans that want to check them out. I'm sure there's stuff online of them.
Yeah, definitely. I know Smarter has worked for NWS in New Jersey, and Brian has worked for Ace way up in North Jersey. So yeah, check them out. They're good workers. They really are.
Well, Jim, I'd like to thank you for coming on the broadcast today. Is there anything you want to plug to our listeners, like a way to get in touch with you for bookings or fan mail or anything?
Well, you can get in touch with me through the Monster Factory. Just go on the site and click onto the emails. If you want to train to be a wrestler, if you want to train to be a referee, I know a guy who can train referees. We train managers and valets also. We've been training guys for 25 years at the Monster Factory, between Larry starting it and the guys who are here training, nowadays. We've got a good reputation, so check us out online, monsterfactory.com. If you want to find out about our promotion at the Monster Factory, it's Old Time Wrestling, and it's oldtimewrestling.net. Like I said, that'll be starting up in September. But also come out to the PWA show in August on the 21st. Just say you heard about it here on the radio show, and come on over and say hello. Love meeting the fans.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.